Well, we are live. Welcome, everyone. We are getting ready to get this show on the line. Go ahead, my brother Freight Train Jay. Tell them who you are, what you doing here today.
What's going on? This your boy, Ray Train Jay. Welcome back to the Wednesday night election stream where we gonna talk about everything that's going on for this new election, everything that you need to know from Trump to Kamala to policies, what's good, what's bad, and you know what I'm saying? Why
The
you should
good, bad,
start
and the
voting. The good, bad, and the ugly. Not me though. Just the good parts for me.
ugly, right? No, I get you. Look. We kind of going a little bear together, AJ.
You
Ah,
know, it's
I
just
gotta take
that
a picture.
wilderness. It's that wilderness season right now. You know, the
Ah,
haircuts are coming soon.
yeah. I need
Hopefully,
I need one myself. So no
looking
problem
bad out here.
there. Well, let's get this show on the road. And just before I we get started, I want to play a video here. So I want you all to listen to this because this is so important. Um, Let me turn back on my video. Let me stop the screen share. And I'm going to put this screen up here because I want folks to really, those coming in, whenever you get a chance, you're going to hear this. So I want you to really understand where we are. This is 60 years ago that Mr. Malcolm X, if you don't know who Malcolm X is, you need to learn who Malcolm X is because I'll tell you, it is so important. You know, everybody talks about, oh, we need to know our history, Black Lives Matter, da, but the sad thing is most people don't come with information. They don't do their research. The Bible says, seek and you shall find, and so a lot of people don't seek, so they don't find. That's just the reality of things. But the one thing that I like is basically searching out and seeing. So this was 60 years ago. It's just I'm only play 2 minutes of it, but I want you to listen carefully as to what Malcolm X has to say about liberals and conservatives. Because sometimes people think because you're conservative or you're just a bad person. Look, we're dealing in a political system. We're working within a political system. But 60 years ago, Malcolm X had to deal with that same system. Okay? But here's how he dealt with it and how he responded to it. So let's listen real quick. Can you?
In this crooked game of power politics here in America, the Negro, namely the race problem, integration, civil rights issue, are all nothing but tools used by the whites who call themselves liberals against another group of whites who call themselves conservatives, either to get into power or to retain power. Among whites here in America, the political teams are no longer divided into Democrats and Republicans. The whites who are now struggling for control of the American political throne are divided into liberal and conservative camps. The white liberals from both parties cross party lines to work together toward the same goal. And white conservatives from both parties do likewise. The white liberal differs from the white conservative only in one way. The liberal is more deceitful, more hypocritical than the conservative. Both want power, but the white liberal is the one who has perfected the art of posing as the Negro's friend and benefactor. And by winning the friendship and support of the Negro, the white liberal is able to use the Negro as a pawn or a weapon in this political football game that is constantly raging between the white liberals and the white conservatives. The American Negro is nothing but a political football, and the white liberals control this ball through tricks or tokenism, false promises of integration and civil rights. In this game of deceiving and using the American Negro, the white liberals have complete cooperation of the Negro civil rights leaders who sell our people out for a few crumbs of token recognition, token gains.
That's what I wanted to play. Jeremiah, what do you think about that? Freight Train J. I gotta make
Man. This is in the 1950s and 60s. He's talking about, I don't know the exact date,
it
but
says
it just all
1963.
1963. That's right before the Civil Rights Act was signed. So,
It was around the Civil Rights Act. So civil rights, here's the problem. Here's the deal. Civil rights was actually given 10 years before in the 1950s. Most people have no idea. It took them 10 years. Because when you listen to Malcolm's entire speech, which there are multiple speeches with Malcolm X, he talks about that the protests, because at this time he was talking about the protests in the streets and all the stuff that's going on. And he was saying, why did it take 10 years since the Civil Rights Act was written for people to get civil rights? Why are we still fighting in the streets? Oh, there's a lot of history that people need to look at, listen to. See, that's what I'm saying. If people really did their research, they would understand this game has been going on for a very, very long time, way before I was born, and of course, way, way, way before you were even thought of.
I asked you a question one day, and I was like, has the political field ever been this divided? You was like, it has not been like this in a very long time. Surprisingly, just to see Malcolm X say that and talk about more of the liberal side, how they're more deceitful, you can tell by a lot of that stuff, especially when you see people on CNN and when they talk about the immigration issue, they always bring up, well, we need the illegal immigrants. Who's going to mow the lawn? Who's going to take care of our kids? Who's going to be our maids?
Come on.
But that's not racist. They're just caring for the illegal immigrants. So, it all makes sense. It's like, wow, Malcolm was a prophet back in the day, telling the people what's going on, but we are blindsided and seem like we didn't open our eyes in right amount of time.
No, and you see, that's the key is Malcolm was talking about this over 50 years ago. Over 50 years ago, actually almost 60 years ago, Malcolm was talking about the same issues that we're dealing today. Who's making the loudest noise today? It's the liberals. They're screaming in the streets. They're telling black people, you need to vote. You need to vote for, like, wait a minute. My vote is my vote. I vote for whoever I want to. I'm an independent person. I'm an independent thinker. Okay? So who are you?
Barack Obama.
Yes. Well, why are you guys telling us who we need to vote for? Let's really think about this process. Second thing is, all these promises, just like Malcolm X says, they promise you all these things, all these little trinkets, like, for instance, Kamala talking about, I'll give y'all $1 million, I'll allow you to have $1 million forgivable. Okay, that sounds great. It's just like they tricked the Indians back in the day. We'll give you some rum and some guns. You give us some gold. Again, and they created fighting among the Native Americans so that they can take the land, they can take the gold that they found. They didn't care about those people. It's all about control. It has always been all about control. But the same people who would complain about control, talking about my job this, my job that, demand this, are the same people following in the line and just, somebody put a laughing emoji on one of my posts when I put, when Kamala, the guys they were protesters in the crowd and they were saying, Jesus is Lord, he is King, and Kamala right there, because let me put you this way. People will say, well, they were all shouting different things. Well, let me say this. Her first response was, you are not at the right rally. I would have said, hey, I understand what you're saying. Yes, Jesus is Lord. Christ is King. Good. But you know what? This is not the place for you. Again, whatever you have protest, go somewhere else. This is not the route. But instead, she just says, This is not the rally for you. You're at the wrong rally. These are type of the things that I'm talking about that we're not paying attention to. And just as I'm talking about Kamala, I just have a couple because I've got a whole list of items that we're going to be talking about today. But
Let's get into it.
one of the other things, do you know they talk about how mean Trump is? But do you know that 90%, almost 90% of Kamala's staff resigned, quit because they said she is unbearable? Okay, so let's get into the presentation. Let me start this off.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
We got some facts to bring. Some people are going to be mad. No more identity politics. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Not
right.
everybody, what they say, not everyone is kinfolk or whatnot. I don't even know. But hey, Kamala's definitely not a part of the folks. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So here we go. So tonight we may cover everything on here. We may not. Okay. In fact, I changed incarcerations to immigration. We'll talk about incarcerations probably in another call because that's a huge, and a lot of these things have to deal with the black race and how it affects us more than it affects almost any other race in this country. And people are not realizing they're voting for the party that is really pushing a lot of these things or negatively impacting the black community. So let's talk about this. Let's go to the first slide here. Women's health. Women's health, you hear it all the time. Oh, we got to have women. They have to have rights and da-da-da-da-da. You know, it's their choice. It's my body, my choice. Okay. Well, here's one question for you. They can't even answer what is a woman. Jeremiah, do you know what is a woman?
So I can play devil's advocate and give you the
No.
liberal.
Tell me what you think a woman is.
A woman is a person with a biological vagina. A woman is a person with biological female breast. I hate the distinction when they be like, well, a woman is gender. Gender is a social construct. Gender is different from the sex. When did we start doing this? When in the world did we start separating a female and woman? Aren't those synonyms? Aren't those what we call basic synonyms? That's like saying like and love. Oh, well, it's aggravating. But a
Well,
woman has a vagina, a natural vagina.
and here's the key, though. Here's really the key. A woman has XX chromosomes. A man has XY chromosomes. So down to the DNA, a man and a woman are two separate beings. Okay? Now here's the key is our chemistry, our body chemistry operates differently. Things that happen within a woman's body is different than things that happens within a man. A man cannot have, they're trying to convince us that a man can have a baby. I don't know where they get this
Word salad. Let's just play word salad. Well, we're talking about the gender woman. A gender woman is not a female. If we said a female, then it would have been a female. Like, shut up. Shut up.
It's more confused. But here's the key is, let's stick to, what is women? So women, when you treat them in the hospital, see, this is the other thing. We're not considering that even, let's say a woman goes to a hospital, she has to be treated completely different from a man. Okay? Matt says usually a swift kick in the balls will end gender confusion.
Hey,
I like that. Hey, thank you, Matt. Thanks for joining us. But listen, but women actually, when they go to the hospital, they have breast exams for cancer, they have pap smears for cancer, all these different things that affect the chemistry of a woman. When a woman has a child, her pelvis is designed to hold a child. It's designed. Now, if you have a trans man, which is a woman that this is where, like I said, this is why it's creating more confusion, because a trans man, or a woman that became a man, is still a woman. So yes, she can still have a baby. That's because her chemistry, she is still a woman. no matter what you try to say, what you try to do. But I digress. Let's keep on going. Freedom of choice. Well, during the pandemic, it didn't seem like anybody had any choice because they would tell us that, you had to take the vaccine, especially nurses that were working in the hospital. They were mandated that they had to take the vaccine. In fact, a lot of them lost their jobs. A lot of them had to find new careers. Okay.
Couldn't go to grocery stores,
Couldn't go,
couldn't go out in public.
but the main thing is that for them to go to work, they had to get the vaccine. How many people got sick from the vaccine? How many people had an allergic reaction or some kind of side effect from the
Let's
vaccine?
talk about it.
Okay, so where's freedom of choice then? Then the other thing they bring up is abortion. It's like abortion is the whole argument about women's health. Okay, and I'm like, why is abortion the biggest part of women's health? Let's talk about some of these points. Let's go on. Got another slide here. So again, what is a woman? You know what I'm saying? And you hear the same politicians crying about women's health, can't and won't tell you what a woman is. Even the dictionary is now confusing. The dictionary, look at that from the dictionary. The Cambridge dictionary says the definition of a woman. It says, learn the meaning of woman as an adult female human being. So that's correct, right? It's an adult female human being. Now it's bringing a trans woman. This is where they throw it in there. And
Oh
actually,
my goodness.
when you go to this, I'm telling you, it's so confusing. They have different meanings for different women in different circumstances. I'm like, oh my God, we are getting so confused over what this is. But like it says, the primary reason they bring this up is really for political gain because they're trying to really woo women into. Here's Time Magazine. What is a woman? This was the question, right? But it says, what does it mean to be a woman? It's complicated. When did it become complicated? When?
Until now.
Exactly. I know Malcolm X probably would have been turning his grave, and this
A lot of our ancestors would have been turning in their grave. A
I think
lot.
all of them. They're like, y'all are
Jeez.
confused. So here's what really here's what it's really about. So what is women's health really about? Are we really concerned about the health of a woman? Are we helping people exercise, lose weight? Is that what health is about? Are we giving them the proper medications, the proper treatment? No, it's actually a political mumbo jumbo that is just used to win political points. It's about abortion. It's about birth control, IVF. Look, not everybody can have a baby. We understand that. So yes, IVF should be allowed. But there's birth control for other things to prevent abortion. Okay? But everybody's focused on abortion because you know what politicians do is and you know what? I'm going to invite Matthew to the call because I like Matthew. He's my friend. Matthew, would you like to come on the call? Because we're going to be talking some hot subjects here. Not going to be too long tonight. We're going to stay here for about an hour. And so let me just go ahead and do that. In the meantime, go ahead, JJ. Go ahead, Freight Train Jay.
So this whole abortion situation, I don't know why it's on everyone's top of their ballots. I don't know when killing babies became such a great ordeal in America. When a lot of other countries, I feel like the West is just really, really, really so stuck on abortions for some reason because we have this thought in our head, we have to live a life. Women have to live a life. And they'll strongman you and tell you, but there are people that get raped and, incest and all that extra stuff. And it's like hard to believe when you look at the statistics. And a lot of it comes through the fact that, hey, we want to make sure if we don't have enough money, we can't support a baby. So we have to get an abortion. Oh, I don't think it's the right time for me, so we have to get an abortion. Oh, but a lot of this stuff is preventable. You know, the grape situation is not really preventable, but 95% of the other stuff is very preventable because a
It,
lot of people don't understand the biggest part about creation is that it takes two. You
there
make
you
the
go.
decision to open up your legs. He made the decision to put that seed in you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When y'all had unprotected sex.
Well, here is the number. See, the one thing that people don't do, they do not go by the numbers. See, this is where you break a lot of the political mumbo jumbo because a lot of it is used to affect the affections. Who wouldn't want the mother who's been raped or who has had forcible sex by incest? Who wouldn't want her to be protected? Who wouldn't want her to suffer? Who would want her to suffer? Nobody. But they, of course, use that as a ploy, as a way to gain political points. Because one thing about people, we are very, very emotional. Okay. And so, as part of that emotion, they try to appeal to our emotion before they appeal to our logic. So, a lot of people do not base their decisions based on um, logic, it's based on emotions. Let's take a look at some numbers. First and foremost, who's most affected by Black women? You can look this up. All of these statistics I'm going to show are charts that are taken from the internet. So you need to be able to see this stuff. There you go. With Black women, let me put this up a little bit here. Okay. I'm going to do this so this way it'll be bigger on there. Black women are disproportionately affected in the U.S. by abortion. Okay. Brother White, how are you?
Good. Hello. Hey, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, you're enjoying these sessions.
Yes, I liked the one last night, and then I saw what was on there for today, and I was like, oh man, I can't wait for this.
Ha ha.
Thanks for
Well,
coming through.
Appreciate you having me.
definitely. Well, here's the key is, we were talking about the abortion rates. And here's the key is and you see the reason why, again, Matthew, no pun to you, but we're addressing Black folks here because they don't understand. They're the ones that are more impacted. We're only 13% of the population, yet
Oh,
34% of all abortions in this country are by African Americans. Okay? Not only that, if you look at this chart over here, the one in the green, the green here shows the same thing. 52% by ethnicity happens in the Black community. 35% happens in the Hispanic community, and 14% in other communities. This is all data that people don't research. Okay? Let me go to another chart here. So we were talking about also what's preventable. First and foremost, I want to read this scripture. It says Jeremiah 1 and 5. Jeremiah, pray change A, no pun to you. Jeremiah 1 and 5 in the NLT version, it says, before, this is God speaking, before I formed you in the womb, I knew. So this is, everybody says, oh, well, a fetus is not a baby. It's not a, here's God saying that before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you up as a prophet to the nations. That's God speaking here. So is a fetus not a child? Do we not give a child because it's in the womb of the mother? Do we give it less coverage under the law? Do we decrease that? We don't do that for animals. If somebody was to go kill a dog that was pregnant, oh, you'd be in trouble. Wouldn't you, Matthew?
You would. By the way, do you know what the Latin word, do you know what fetus is in Latin?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Little human.
Wow.
wow.
Wow, wow, wow. And here
Human language. We just throw it out the door, though.
yes, we throw facts out the door and we throw real language out the door so that it can fit what we're trying to do. Here are some of the reasons. Again, look at this. This blue here indicates how many abortions that are really voluntary, elective. And here's what everybody talks about: rape and incest. Rape and incest is 0.4% of all abortions is rape and incest. 0.4, that's less than 0.5%. And it says 0.3%, because this is another big act. Well, what about the life of the mother? What if she was dying? That's 0.3%. Data don't, this is a key. I use data to find out, well, how many of these people are actually suffering? How many people are actually dying from not having an abortion? The other thing is, to me, the rape and incest can also be solved before it even gets to a pregnancy. Because when they go to the hospital for treatment, the hospital has spermicide. They have other technologies, other pills that can prevent pregnancy even before it happens. So do we have an excuse? Anybody in the panel? Do we have an excuse?
Nope. I don't see no excuse.
Okay. Here's the other thing. Go ahead. Somebody, you had to say something, Matthew?
I'm on a call.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Now here's the other thing. Pressure. Okay. And I understand they don't want the government, but here's the key. Most of the pressure comes from the father. The father, look, I'm a man. We're all men on this call. Okay. And we'll definitely, it'd be nice to have a woman on this call. So if any of you ladies want to join, make sure tag in and comment on here. We'd love to have you in the call. But you can see here, fathers of the baby. So the boyfriend, again, these are people that can avoid pregnancy because, hey, if you didn't want to get her pregnant, do the right thing. Wear a condom. Whatever needs to be done. I'm not advocating premarital sex, but I'm saying is if you're going to do it, don't get to the point where you got to force the mother to have an abortion. Medical professionals. What?
Whoa.
The doctor.
Whoa.
The doctors and nurses are saying, well, you need to get rid of that baby. The mother, their mothers, 14% of the time, their best friends, an abortion provider. You get these clinics like Planned Parenthood, 5% of the time. So I'm saying statistics don't lie. And this is the problem. People can't argue with statistics. I'm going to keep on moving. Any comment here so far from you guys?
Well, here's the problem. Any type of debate that I've ever had, the rape and incest always comes up as a factor.
Yep.
And let me show you just how faulty that logic is. Because the logic would be, since we know that that's less than 1% of the cases of abortion, then why are we even bringing that up? If are we saying that the other 99% are murder, are killing the child? If we're gonna use that as the standard, hey, then an argument can be, I will trade you the less than 1% of rapes and incest, and then we're going to say that all the rest of those are killing an innocent child. But
That's
see, the left does not want to have that argument.
They do not.
Because they cannot argue it logically.
Well, and the other reason why is because what they want to argue is the emotional side. So what they look at is they say, you know what? What's the most emotional thing used for this abortion? Oh, let's use the smallest number of people because, yeah, the mother's life, which is less than 1% as well, okay, which is 0.3%, okay, rape and incest, 0.4%. So both of those together are still less than 1% of all abortions. So what they are doing is, and this is what they do on every single issue, is they try to get people emotionally involved. It has nothing to do with real data. That's what they're trying to do. Okay.
And you know what else? Before we move on,
Sure.
just like the COVID incident, can we pop the cameras on? Is the cameras on
Yeah,
us?
hold on one second. I'm about to switch them over.
So just like during the COVID incident, who was benefited the most during COVID? Was it the government or was it health providers? Like the
Ooh,
people giving out the medicine. Here's the vaccine. Buy this. You know, you can get the Johnson and Johnson, Pfizer, and all that extra stuff.
yep.
So in reality, we're not benefiting anyone but those screwed up doctors that wants to take and tinkle with your womb. You know what I'm saying? Mess up some ovaries in there just to get that little baby out. And that's 95% of the time. It's just you're not benefiting anyone but the higher powers, which a lot of leftists say, oh, we don't want the man on top. We don't want to be controlled. They're literally controlling you, taking your money to take, you know what I'm saying? It only benefits them.
And they don't even realize just the abortion itself could have an impact on future babies. Who knows what damage an abortion is actually doing on the inside? Because if you've
Yep.
seen some of these abortions and some of the stuff that they do to get the baby out, or they use salt to melt the baby's skin away. I mean, there's so much stuff that they
Ooh.
do. Okay, and it's really violent. A lot of these abortions, and I'm like, okay, well, what is it doing to the mother's womb? Okay, so here we go. We got to keep on moving. So I think this is going to be Matthew's favorite subject right here. You ready, Matt? Matt, when he saw this, he was like, "Yeah, let me get."
Start to cook
And,
up.
and can I segue this real quick?
Yes, you can definitely.
The left wants to make everyone a victim that they can.
Yes,
Women who are carrying guns are much less of a victim and a lower chance of being raped. But the left does not want women to be empowered to protect themselves with guns. And this is the kind of, I mean, doesn't that make sense logically?
yep,
You know, having a gun, that is the equalizer between a man and a woman.
yes,
That and
yes,
also and actually marksmanship is I think the only I think it's the only sport where women do just as good as men or better. And so we have to change the culture in this country to where women are more empowered to carry a gun because, you know, I want to shut that door. Excuse me. That I mean, you know, you have less sexual assaults. That's going to lead to less rapes, and you know, these are the kind of things the left don't want you to know about your gun rights.
well,
Ooh, we got it.
yeah. When you guys see some of the numbers that I bring up here too, some of the statistics, because again, you guys, I am a statistics guy. I go by the numbers, okay? And the problem here too is, and just like you said with women, same thing in the black and brown community, where most of the violence happens. Most of it. Wait till you see these statistics. I'm going to show you guys some stuff you've heard, but some stuff you probably wouldn't even. So here's the deal: is what is gun control? They don't even know what gun control is because you can't control illegal guns. Somebody's going to find a way. There are countries that have strict gun control, and people are still able to get guns. Okay,
Mm.
you know who are they trying to control? What population are you trying to control? Gun-related issues, mass shootings, AR-15, which is their favorite gun, versus a handgun. What are the gun violence stats? Let's take a look at this data here, because this data is going to shock a lot of people out there. Here's the deal. In El Salvador, not the U.S., South America, where we're letting everybody across the border, this stuff affects us because we're now importing people across the border. Check this out. El Salvador, 13.68, 36.8. Okay, this is the rate of violent firearm deaths. We're ranked 30th in the world in 2019. Check this out. Look at the United States. We're at 4.0. Look at this scale. Venezuela, 33.3. Guatemala, 29.1. Colombia, 20. Where are all these places? South America. Brazil, 21.9. Bahamas, 21.5. Bahamas is high for that small island, boy. Honduras, 20.1. Mexico, 16.4. Belize, 16.2. Even my country has a high gun rate. And we have super strict gun laws. Super. And when I say super, in Trinidad, you cannot own a gun unless you are a business owner who owns a store or you are a hunter. That's it. There's no private gun ownership. There's no gun shops. There are no and you have to get authorization from the police. So where are these guns coming from? South America. They're not coming from the U.S. Okay, this country, my country, Trinidad, is way, way down. And look at the U.S. The U.S. is even lower than my country. But yet still we fuss here. By the way, I am a U.S. man. My son's U.S. So this is my country. But where I was born, the U.S. is even lower than where I was born. I thought that was an interesting statistic. You know what's funny, Jeremiah? I didn't even know it was on there.
That's crazy.
Okay.
So are we hired in Jamaica? I just got to bring that up.
I don't know. I didn't look at Jamaica. I think Jamaica is up there too. This happened to be the one I popped up, but that was crazy.
That's crazy to me.
The Lord led me to this one. But yes, there South America and there are some African countries that there's another list I think I'd sent you, Jeremiah, that showed how high these gun violence is. Now here's the other problem. Here's the other thing. This is a big deal because everybody talks about the police, right? Okay, I want you to look at this. This is gun violence based on population and race. Okay, remember, the African American race is 13%, right? But everybody always say, it's more black people dying than white people with guns. No, sir. 36.8% of gun violence is in the white community. But even for the size, here's what it is. In relation to the size of the population, this is a huge number. 23.4% of African Americans out of 13.4, where white Americans 60.4. This is crazy numbers, guys. Do you think so? What do you think?
I think it is.
Let's look at some other numbers here. Now, I'm gonna tell you something else that's really crazy. Most people just think about murder when they think about guns. They think about murder. They think about mass shootings. They think about all this. Don't look at the other side of the chart yet. I'm gonna come over to that one because that one's going to be more interesting. But look at how much suicide is performed in the U.S. Suicide. At Brazil, not a happy number. There's a small amount of suicide, but mainly murders. Even the murders in the U.S. is still less than Mexico, still less than Colombia, just about the same as it is in Venezuela. Come on. So I mean, go ahead.
Why are we not? I mean, come on, we're America. Why are we not number one in that? Come on now.
Well,
why are we not number one?
Yeah.
If you have more guns in this country than you have people in this country.
Yep.
And you have people that they don't just have one AR-15.
Yeah.
They may have 50.
Mm-hmm.
They may have a stockpile, and I'm not saying that I have that, but if you have people with stockpiles of guns, You have people with, hundreds of thousands of rounds of ammunition. Why are
Yep.
we not number one?
Well, you see, because that's where they don't understand. This is why I said they make gun control a political thing and not a logical thing. They don't go by data. These guys do not run by data. Anybody asking for gun control doesn't understand. There are enough guns per capita in the United States to kill literally everybody. Okay? That doesn't happen. And the sad thing is, when I'm looking at the chart and I'm looking at what it says for suicide, I think we need to be paying more attention to suicide than anything else, because that's a huge number. That's a huge number of suicide. Now, let's go to the other side of this chart. Y'all ready?
Let's
Mass
talk.
Mass shoot. Go ahead. You got something to say?
Oh, go ahead,
Oh,
Jerome.
go ahead, Matt. All right. So I was just looking at that, and another reason why I was about to bring up why America and its gun laws are the way they are is because Americans, there was a reason why it was implemented into the Constitution. If there was ever a time where they so-called say a dictator like Trump, quote unquote, I'm doing quotations, get into power, we can fight said power with the gun power that we have as normal citizens. Like these other countries, I know they deal with a lot of crime lords, cartels, and stuff that's ruling over their government, that's taking over. They really can't defend themselves. You know what I'm saying? You're
Nope.
not going to see that a lot in America of cartels taking over and drug lords taking over. It's because if you come to a certain town, the whole town got an AR-15 ready to defend their territory, ready to defend their American land. So I just had to bring that up.
Yeah,
No,
it's
that's
absolutely
great.
ridiculous. I'd like to add a couple things.
Go ahead.
The the study was, I think, from 2000. Well, let me back up. And all this is going off of my head, so the numbers may be off by a little bit. But let me give you the argument that I like, my favorite argument. You're talking about, let's say, 50 to 60,000 deaths by gun every year in the United States.
Mhm.
Okay, let's say it's 60,000. All right. We know that what percentage of those are suicides? Over 60% are suicides, right?
Yep.
Okay. So let's say now we're down to, help me with the math here.
The 40%. Well, let's say 30% is by murder.
Okay, right. So now we're down to what, 30? Let's say 40,000.
Yes.
Sure, let's say 30 to 40,000. Barack Obama had the CDC do a study in 2012 because he wanted to see what the actual numbers were like for crimes that are prevented with firearms, murders, violent assaults that are stopped by somebody with a gun defending themselves, or robbery, things like that. They don't make these numbers available anymore because it's so damning.
It is.
What they say is that every year in America, 500,000 to 2 million crimes are stopped by somebody with using their own gun.
Yes.
Woo!
That's right.
Now, here's my argument. Let's say that that's bullshit.
Mhm.
Let's say that the study is bunk. Let's say it's just way off.
Yes.
That's great. Let's take half those numbers. Let's say that the low end, which is 500,000 per year, let's cut that in half to 250,000 crimes and murders and violent assaults and rapes every year that are prevented by a good guy with a gun. We're way over that 30,000 deaths.
Mhm.
That's right.
It's not even close.
Right.
It's
And
not even close.
And that's the key, because they don't have an argument. Again, it's about, and here's the problem too, is like, and it's why, again, Matthew, I'm addressing my black audience. because they need to know this stuff because they're the ones affected the most by gun control. Okay. Just before I go there, I wanted to go over this chart really quickly here. 56%. Everybody always talks about the AR-15. 56% are done by handguns. You know, they think,
Ooh.
oh, AR-15 is it's a military style gun. I'm like, are you people really understanding what you're talking about? It says by rifle, only 13% of all crimes are done by rifle only. Rifle only, 13%. This is data online. Shotgun, only 4%. Handgun and rifle is 12%. Handgun and shotgun, 12%. Handgun shot was these people carrying so much. I don't know how they carry all that ammo.
The Punisher.
They carry 3 different types of ammo. But the crazy thing is that we always, because the AR-15 is such of course it was made after the M16. It's a similar construction, but it's not automatic. I had a little argument with somebody online because they were telling me, well, yeah, it can shoot multiple bullets. It can, yes, it can, but it's not automatic. You have to have a special license to get an automatic rifle, and that's not what these guys are using. Now,
Right.
Can they modify? Well, some people can do anything.
And you go to prison for that. If you
Right.
you modify your AR-15, that is illegal, and you can go to
Or
prison.
your Glocks. The
That's
young,
right.
the
With your
young,
Glock
the young
switch.
men now with the switchies.
Yep. Now,
Yeah,
here's
it's
the
really bad. You'll have black inner city kids with shooting up an entire street with a Glock switch, and the cops don't want to go after them, but
Yep.
they want to go after me with my AR-15, and I have no criminal record.
And that's really, again, it's like they're saying you can't, because here's what Freight Train J Jeremiah said just a little while ago. The problem is actually they want to be the ones in control. They don't want anybody rising up and getting rid of them. It's about power. It's about control. It's about them sealing and making sure, because this is the same thing Fidel Castro did in Cuba. They took away all the guns, took over the country. Every time communists move into a country, they want to. So you got to look at the party that wants gun control. The ones that don't fear the gun because they don't fear the people that have the guns. That's a crazy thought, isn't it? It's like, they fear the people with the guns, but the ones who actually are supporting the people with the guns, they don't fear the people with the guns.
Mm-hmm.
It's only the ones that want to do something.
And I need to go in just a minute. I got to get some kids in the bed, but
Sure.
I do want to leave you guys with a joke, a gun control joke, if that's all right.
Oh yes, go ahead.
So here's how gun control works. Are you against rape? Of course I'm against rape.
Yep.
Okay. Well, sir, we need to cut off your penis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We need to. Hey, you're against rape. We need to cut it off. Wait a minute.
Yep.
Wait a minute. I've never raped anybody.
Right. Exactly. Not mine.
And that is the excuse me. That's the logic. All 3 of us are law-abiding citizens.
That's right.
And our Constitution guarantees in the Heller decision that we have a right to keep and bear arms.
Yep.
And the Bruin decision guarantees that we also have a right to carry a firearm.
Yes.
We are not the problem, but they want to demonize us as law-abiding citizens who wouldn't hurt a flea unless that flea was trying to kill our family.
Exactly.
Yes.
They want to demonize the good guys, and they want to elevate and praise criminals.
Yes.
They love it.
This is that leftist logic where criminals they're not criminals, they're just misunderstood.
Mental disorders.
Yeah. They're oppressed. So, we have to give them a pass. But regular folks like us, nope. No gun for you.
Again, it has nothing to do with just us being legal. It's about their control. and they know what their ultimate goal is to take over this country. That's really, I believe, they talk about, see, somebody talks about somebody else too many times, and they try to say this is what they're going to be a dictator. They're going to be a dictator. They keep telling you that. You better look at that person, because somehow in their mind they see dictatorship. I've always said, you have, it's like these kids who accuse other kids of doing stuff. Like, he hit me. 90% of the time, that kid actually did the hitting. You just didn't see him. And that's what these guys are doing. That's my opinion. Matthew, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me
Thank
on.
you.
I'm gonna try and jump on a little bit and listen to the rest when I get a chance. Okay, great job, guys. Oh, vote early only if you're voting for Trump. If you're voting for Harris, go see a shrink, or go try to buy bacon and eggs. Go to the store. Before you go vote.
Exactly.
Okay?
And don't buy a brand new TV this year, because every year they come up with the Chinese put cheaper and cheaper big screen TVs. Buy some food.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matthew.
Take care.
You take care too.
You too.
Oh, what a great call. And here's the last thing, Jeremiah, what we were talking about. I know I'm calling you Jeremiah, but that's okay. They know who you are. So here's the key is. This is the sad part. Gun violence statistics among Black youth is 12. That is let's say, to the white, that's almost 6 times higher than what it is in the white population. 6 times higher. Okay? So we're talking about, well, how many of these come in here illegally? How many of them acquire guns? Yes, it's easy. That's why it says they use the emotion like, oh, your population gets, but who's doing the killing? That's the key is. Most
exactly.
of the killing is not done by white people. It's not done by Asian people. It's black on black violence is most of the deaths. That's what's so crazy about this chart. You have anything else? We can close off that one, because I think we won't be able to get everything else. But let's just I'm going to go ahead and keep on going.
So just like we said, it's mainly black on black violence. You know what I'm saying? They push this racism narrative. It's not and what's funny too, when we're talking about how they want to control guns, if 17-year-olds and under can find their way to a gun, what can an adult find? You know what I'm saying? What type of military weapons can they find when 17 and under can't even get a gun? So imagine if they take the weapons away, which, you know what I'm saying? An adult can find a weapon. You know what I'm saying? It's not so hard to find guns. It shows in all these other countries with all these other stricter laws. It's not that hard to find a gun. But go ahead.
No, and there are always ways that people find illegal ways to bring guns into the country. That's the point. It doesn't even have to be, like it says, stolen. It doesn't have to be, this, that. There are other means of getting guns into this country. And that's the sad thing. So when you go after the legal person, the person who's trying to do the right thing, going through the right process, and you want to limit that person from defending their family, you're doing them a critical disservice. Let's talk real quick about why Trump. And I also want to make sure and mention to all of our audience, those of you, just before, this is my little commercial. You could do your little commercial. But those of you who want to have your nonprofit, I am having a conference call here very soon to share with people how to create their own nonprofit, how to protect their assets from government control, government take, especially if you're in ministry, we can see that these days, you can have your ministry shut down just because you're not preaching the right thing. If we had a 501c3 here right now, and I was talking some of the stuff I'm talking today, they would shut me down. This is the age of cancel culture. So those of you who want to learn how to get a better plan, you need to inbox me. You need to inbox me, and I will share with you how you can create your own nonprofit, not pay taxes as a ministry. It is built in to the tax code. I will show you. It's not that it's not very far away from you. It's not that hard, and it is so simple to do. And again, this is powerful. So again, inbox me, and I will share with you how to get your own nonprofit without a 501c3 that limits what you can do. You have anything to say, Freight Change A?
No, hey, y'all better get ready. Tap into Anthony Skinner. Go to his Facebook page. You know what I'm saying? He teaches a lot. He teaches a lot and give a lot of good information for your future, for your finances, and just for your overall mind. You know what I'm saying? I'm always welcome. Y'all can always check out the channel. You'll see him in guest appearances, but make sure you're paying attention to his page so you can find more and more information to expand your life and expand your growth and knowledge on this on any basis of your life.
Well, again, we don't have much time left because we want to make sure there's 4 minutes left. I mean, the last thing we want to tell you guys is go vote for Trump. Why Trump? See, just like we played that Malcolm X video in the beginning. Okay, first and foremost, Harris, she talks about how mean Trump is and how he's mean tweets. Okay, well, we don't deal with personalities. You know what? I don't like her. A lot of people don't like her. That's the reason why she's losing momentum in the polls, is because they have an agenda that nobody likes. Her staff don't like working with her. In fact, 95% of her staff have quit because they don't like Harris. Okay? So just imagine her having the power, the button. You know, everybody talks about Trump having access to the button. Well, just imagine a mad woman. You ever watch the movie by Tyler Perry? The what is it? The Diary of a Mad Black Woman? Oh, I hope y'all understand. That is what we're dealing with here. When she gets angry, I can guarantee you're not going to have the same person that you think you see. Okay? Number two, they are the ones who caused this inflation. They're the ones who reduced the amount of oil production, stopped giving out permits, canceled the pipeline. Okay? They adopted the Green New Deal. They have bought into the World Economic Forum mission and the Agenda 2030. In fact, if you didn't know, Biden's whole theme for his last election was based on Agenda 2030, which is, again, most of you are worried about Agenda 2025. Trump has already denied any connection to it, and he has nothing to do with it. But I'll tell you this, you better be more concerned about Agenda 2030. Just do your Google research on what that means. It all sounds good until then they want to make everyone buy an electric car. If you didn't know, in Florida, they were telling people to get your electric cars out of town because if the battery gets wet, it burns, and it burns with such a rage, not even the fire department can stop the battery from burning. So I'm going to tell you right now, you want to go ahead, when you vote for Trump. I will tell you, you will not regret it. Don't believe the lies about him being a dictator. We have not seen that. He didn't do it on this last one. He would have done it before. So again, this is one of the things that you need to go ahead and do that, and make sure you go ahead and vote for it. So God bless you all. Freight Train J, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, thanks for tuning in, everybody. It is your boy, Freight Train J, with Pops Anthony C. Skinner, man. I need to tap in some more, man. I love y'all.
Love you too.
All right.
Okay, let's stop the live.